Welcome back to Clean with Kate. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon, the sun is shining, and I wanted to show you the things that have changed. So I'm going to just start by showing you the outside. Oh, if I can zoom in, and the wisteria is coming out. So the wisteria on the house has started to burst into flower, and the quince is in flower, even though it's only April. So I thought you might like to see, some of you have asked me to see little bits of the garden. So I thought I'd show you some of the things in the garden that I really love. So I really love this little quince, or huge quince, that's growing up the side of the house. And what I've done is I've tried to match the planting underneath the quince, which is hyacinths, which are going over very quickly in this heat. I've tried to match it to the colour of the quince. Sorry, I'm standing in the shadow. So we've planted lots of these sort of salmon coloured hyacinths because then they match the colour of the quince. I thought you might like to see that because it's something that I absolutely love at this time of year. We've got these beautiful quinces. This one's not been as healthy, but this one had quite a lot of dieback a year or two ago, but it does seem to be recovering. And I've also got some of these really soft yellow hyacinths on the front of the house, as well as these salmon ones. But the weather has been incredible in the UK this last month, and so they're going over quite quickly. Anyway, let's pop. Oh, there's another quince here actually. There's a white quince, and that's been absolutely incredible. Look at it in flower, and look at the wisteria. I don't know if you can see it on this. I'll just zoom right in there. The wisteria is just starting to come out on the house. It's very early this year. I'll try not to make you dizzy. Anyway, it's quite windy out here, so I don't think the sound's going to be terribly good. Oh, the grass has been cut, so these have just been dumped in the flower borders. Anyway, let's go into the conservatory. So I'm starting my house tour slightly differently this time. It's a bit of a backwards house tour, so we're starting outside and then coming inside. And then at the end of the tour, I'll take you outside into my favourite part of the garden and show you what's going on there. It's a new garden that we planted about 2 years ago, and it's really come back to life. Anyway, you get the conservatory is absolutely loving this. Look at these geraniums. They've been in flower since they started flowering in March. And it's just been a really good year for them. Look, I just love it when the geraniums come back into flower. Look at that, isn't that incredible? And this is an absolutely lovely warm room to sit, even on a bit of a windy day, which it is today. And I still haven't got my cushions out, can you believe it? It has been quite a busy month, but the geraniums are looking really happy. I'm a little bit worried about this. I think I've managed to kill this over winter. There is some signs of life. What would you do with this? I think it probably is going to have a hard prune, but it looks like there is some life coming from the base, so hopefully it's not completely had it. And the succulents, I love this warm sunny weather. This one's just trying to escape, I think. It's covered in babies as well at the bottom of the pot. Anyway, the reason I brought you in here is to show you these fabulous hyacinths. I showed you them, I think, a week or two ago when I bought them, but now they've come into full flower and they're multi-headed pink hyacinths, and they're in this reproduction footbath, and they're just filling this room and this house with the most incredible fragrance. I probably need to turn them round because they are sort of leaning towards the light. Let's just move them while I'm in here. Oh, it was so heavy. Otherwise I'll forget. Oh my goodness. Okay, I think I'll have to do that later. I think I can do it one-handed. But if you turn them, when they start to lean like that, I'm going to need to come in and water them as well. And I've got these lovely, I bought some new hyacinths actually. I was in the, oh wow, I think I've managed to buy apricot ones, wonderful. It said they were pink, but that is such a good colour. That will go in the front of the house. But I was in Tesco today, and they had these pots of hyacinths, which are quite late, but I'm not going to leave them in here too long, or they'll go over really quickly, but they're coming into the house. So look at my scented pelargoniums are coming back into flower, into leaf beautifully here since I've started feeding them. Golly, it's like the Mediterranean in here today. It's had a good water because it dries out on an almost daily basis at the moment. Anyway, we'll pull back so you get a better view of the conservatory. The conservatory is one of my favourite rooms in the house. And it was actually one of the first rooms I saw when I came to view the house. So I'm kind of giving you, we came to view it at this time of year, funnily enough, about 12 years ago. And the house was needed quite a lot of work. And this conservatory had definitely seen better days. In fact, it's in need of quite a lot of work again. But I just fell in love with this room. It is one of my favourite rooms in the house, particularly at this time of year. Anyway, from the conservatory, let me just turn around actually. Then you come into the dining room. which seems quite dark after you've been in the conservatory. So here's my cocktail sort of area. I'm actually not drinking cocktails at the moment, amazingly. I'm having an alcohol-free month, I think, or certainly an alcohol-free week. So that cocktail bar won't be getting much use at the moment. And so the plants have sort of escaped into the dining room. I do need to reduce these. Some of them will be able to go out over the summer, and I need to spread them out around the house. I've got far too many in here. Some of them could go into the conservatory, actually. They've come in here because over winter, these plants are tender, and if I leave them in the conservatory, they just die. So actually, I think now they're actually sort of tropical plant house. They're tropical plants, and the conservatory is wonderful at this time of year, so they could definitely go back in there. This is a jug that I picked up at an antiques fair, I think, a couple of months ago. It is quite damaged. In fact, it's got a massive crack through it. It may have been a car boot bag. I don't know where I got that from. But I haven't actually done anything with it yet because I've realised it has got this huge crack in it, so really sadly. I think somebody's repaired it at some point. But I think I can still use it. I can put some artificial flowers in it or some cut flowers in it. I love using these old sort of antique water jugs as flower jugs. This is another antique water jug. You can pick them up really cheaply at car boot sales or charity shops or antique fairs. Where should we go next? Not a lot's changed in the hallway. It's quite dark at this time of year. It seems dark compared to the other rooms. And this is just one of the sort of launch pads where we keep coats, bags, that sort of stuff. And then that goes through. I could put the lights on, actually. That might make a difference. Because this room doesn't get that much light. So it's better, really, when we put the lights on. Because the only light coming into this room is through this door. And through this door. But otherwise, it doesn't have any windows onto this part. This is the hallway. And off the hallway is the downstairs loo, which is north facing. So again, when the rest of the house seems really light, this seems quite dark. But I love this little toilet. It's a room in the house that I really love. It's very different to when we bought the house. And we filled it with sort of antiques and a little chandelier and an antique toilet. But it's been one of my favourite projects on the house is restoring this little toilet. Okay, let's go down the hallway. This might have to be quite a quick tour because I've actually put the puppies outside. I've never showed you my little cupboards, I don't think. I've got these little pier cabinets. At the moment, they're full of old antique glasses. But I probably need to have a rethink in here because these glasses don't get used. And I think I might take the glasses out and I might use these cupboards for something else. I'm not sure what. I don't know. What would you put in them? Glasses, we just forget about the glasses in there. They used to get used, but they don't seem to get used so much now. And again, this one's full of beautiful cut glass. But what am I going to do with it all? Because I'm trying to declutter at the moment. I should probably go through these cupboards and maybe either donate them or sell them. Okay, I'm going to switch that light off. So we're into the main entrance, the big old entrance to the house. This was actually the original entrance to the house. The house has been reconfigured. The original house is about 450 years old, but I think this part is probably about 200 years old. And the original entrance actually came in here, behind this big curtain, in what is now a shoe cupboard and a workout area. So that is the original front door to the house. I should take you around the other side, actually. I might do that at the end of the video. It's an incredible door. It's got roses around it. But now this is used as a storage cupboard. And I keep my weights in there and winter coats and all sorts of vacuum cleaners in there. And this room is mainly, I use this as my workout space and my come and sit, drink a cup of tea space. Because on a day like this, even in the middle of winter when the sun's streaming in, it's a lovely place to sit and have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and just think or read. My mum used to love this room. She used to spend hours when she'd come and stay with us. Sadly, she passed away several years ago, but when she used to come and stay with us for several weeks at a time, and that was her favourite chair. She would sit there and read a book, and she was perfectly happy. She loved this little spot. We'd light the log burner for her and put the heat radiators on so it was really cosy. But the plants are loving it now, aren't they? But every time I think it does make me think of my mum. I picked up these amazing artificial flowers last week at TK Maxx, and they're white tulips, and I think they were reduced. Absolutely So pleased with them. I think they're one of my best ever artificial flower buys because they look really realistic and they were such good value. I love TK Maxx. And this Christmas rose is loving being in the hallway. I moved these in last year because they were in the conservatory and they just weren't enjoying the cold in there over winter. So I moved them in here for winter, and I think I might just keep them here because it kind of goes with the Victorian vibe of the room. These, because I've got a pair of these wonderful, I think they're Victorian, are they Majolica? I think they're planters, and they just seem to fit with the style of this room, which is, I feel, quite a Victorian room. I think the staircase was changed and reconfigured in Victorian times. So this room definitely has a very, very Victorian feel. And from there, we come into the lounge, which is Georgian, with the addition of a log burner and a TV. So it's bringing it up right up to the 25th century. And I put these gorgeous hyacinths in here last week, and it's a very warm room at this time of year because the heat's coming in from the conservatory, and this room really heats up in the sunshine. And they're just loving it in here. And again, at this time of year, I love to come and sit in here. I've got a glass of water on the go and just sit here. It's just a really nice space. We don't have any heating on at all in the main house at the moment because it's just so warm in the sunshine. And then you can look out of the windows and just see the quince out here in full flower. It's just incredible. So again, this is one of my favourite rooms in the house. I love it in winter. It's really cosy at Christmas, but I absolutely love it at this time of year when the sun is streaming into it. Okay, I'm not sure we're going to have time to go upstairs today because I've got to go and let the puppies in. But if you'd like to come with me, we'll go and see the garden. I'm going to show you my favourite parts of the garden. I might need to pause while I deal with the puppies. And I can show you what we've been up to in the kitchen. My husband picked me these beautiful daffodils out of one of the fields. They were just growing. We've got several fields of these were growing in the field. And he's also harvested the first of our rhubarb. We had our first rhubarb crumble last week, or was it this week? So you've probably seen this room many times. This is my little pantry with my coffee machine and my little red fridge and my dishwasher. That room features in a lot of my videos. This room is we just walked straight through the small kitchen. I'm forgetting, some of you might not have seen the house before, but this is the original kitchen to the house. It was probably, it's probably Victorian actually, because it's not the original kitchen, it's an added on kitchen, but this was added in the Victorian times. I think originally these were two houses, and then in Victorian times, they were joined together with this little kitchen, which still is our main kitchen. This is the room where we do all of our cooking. And when we came, we took we put the sort of 1950s, 60s ceiling down, and we found we had fairly decent beams, although they could do the repaint. So we left them exposed. They had been covered up. We had a little fish tank, but we've now got a bigger fish tank and some new arrivals who are really settling in well. I'm just coming to say hello. They're very friendly. I think they like we bought them some new food this week. We got some really nice new pelleted goldfish food on the recommendation of the garden centre we bought the fish at. And they love it. Oh my goodness. They absolutely love their new food. Anyway, this is the room where the previous owners used to dry their horse tack. So we've kind of kept it on a slightly horsey theme. Because of that, it used to have a huge boiler in here. In the fireplace, but we've replaced that with a log burner, and we keep a lot of our crockery in here. This is actually the oldest part of the house. It's about 450 years old, and there's an original beam here you can see. I've also got a lovely stain on my ceiling where we had a leak that we do need to repaint or re-lime wash. Anyway, I think we'd better go and see what those puppies are up to because they're a bit quiet, aren't they? So anyway, I'm coming through now into the more modern part of the house. This is an adjoining barn to the house that's been converted into a little sort of snug area which looks out over one of the new gardens. So this is one of my favourite parts of the garden. This garden was created about 3 years ago. Originally there was an enormous swimming pool, but a really old swimming pool, and not in a good condition swimming pool, and nobody was using the swimming pool. So we did actually fill in the swimming pool and created a quadrant garden here, which is mainly a rose garden planted with herbaceous between the roses. But I'll take you and show you that in a minute. It's not that much to see at this time of year. And there's a summer house in the distance, which we've restored recently. It's a Victorian rotating summer house. A Bolton and, I can't remember the name, some rotating summer house. And again, I've brought some more hyacinths into the house because I just love hyacinths. And off the little snug is a downstairs, another bathroom. So there's a little wet room in here, a nice modern wet room, but also some reclaimed toilets in here and a reclaimed sink. I think we'd actually had these for about 20 years before we actually fitted them. I just saw them in a reclamation yard and fell in love with them. And this little bathroom looks out over the garden. Oh, and there's a picture. That just reminds me of one of my spaniel that we lost last year, Poppy. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Let's go through into the big barn. So this part of the barn is a sort of little snug area with just a nice area to sort of sit and chat or have a coffee. And the dogs like to sort of, Ted loves to chill in there. These are our garden cushions. And now we're through into the main barn, which is an incredibly warm, sunny, light room. And it looks out over the little garden, another little garden that we created. I just wanted to show you this at the moment because it's just full of spring bulbs. And they planted these last year and they've just been an absolute picture. I'll just zoom in on them so you can see them. But we planted up these pots and we went on a white theme because we quite often sit in this little part of the barn in the evenings and the white really pops in the evening. And then we've got lots more spring bulbs over there. There's quite a lot going on here at the moment. This is a sort of working part of the garden. We're having to water the pots at the moment as well. Anyway, oh golly, there's a little eider down there for where I was having a nap. I should have tidied up first, shouldn't I? Oh well, sometimes if I spend too long tidying up, I don't actually get around to making the video. So you can see my little tulips in here are still amazing. They were such a good buy. They've lasted so well. I think these must have been in here at least 2 or 3 months. Another TK Maxx purchase, but I love my TK Maxx tulips. So this is a sort of big kitchen in the house, but actually we still do most of our cooking in the little kitchen. I need to come and do a bit of tidying up in here actually because we've got guests arriving shortly. My daughter and her partner are coming for the weekend and I haven't actually tidied up yet everywhere, but we're pretty much ready for them. We're company ready. They're used to us. But I could do with putting these up. I've been doing some plant care today. I think I might put this into the conservatory because I think it's flowered. Maybe it hasn't flowered this year, but I don't think it's going to. What else am I going to show you? I'm going to show you the puppies, I think. So it's quite a short little video today just because I'm in charge of the puppies and I don't know what they're up to. So we're through now into the utility room, which is always full of laundry. And today is no exception. Even though I got on top of all the laundry yesterday, I've got another washing machine full to do today. And all this laundry, I think some of it's I ironed yesterday. Let's see what they're up to. Actually, do you know what? They're not misbehaving. They're just playing. They're being really good. Ted's being good as well. So I think we could just leave them be for now. Anyway, I think it might be time to go and have a cup of tea and sit on a sun lounger and wait for my guests to arrive. Maybe a little bit of tidying up first. Anyway, I just thought you might enjoy a little Saturday tour of the house. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Bye for now.